Good day to you. Today I'm going to study the book of Judges a bit, and I wanted to share that with you. Judges is a book in the Old Testament. It falls between the book of Joshua and the book of Ruth. If you remember, Joshua took over leadership of the Israelites when Moses died. Joshua is the man who led the Israelites into the Promised Land. The book of Judges begins shortly before Joshua passes away. The book of Judges characterizes the time between Joshua's death and the rise of monarchs, kings who ruled over the Israelites. During this period, the period of the Judges, there were judges, and these were men who were very wise and were leaders who were blessed by God and played a critical role in defining some of relationship elements that we see today. Throughout the book of Judges, we see the repeated theme, the cycle of disobedience, foreign oppression, cries of distress, and divine deliverance. And we see the constant demonstration of the covenant faithfulness of our Lord. What this means is we see repeatedly that God doesn't leave us, but that we leave God. Now, remember, we as Christians are adopted members of God's family. So even though we're not Israelites, we can consider ourselves Israelites by descent, by the nature of our adoption. So for today, I'm going to study chapter 2 from Judges, and I'm going to read a bit here. The angel of the Lord said to the Israelites, I brought you up out of Egypt and led you into the land that I swore to give to your forefathers. I said, I will never break my covenant with you, and you shall not make a covenant with the people of this land, but you shall break down their altars. Yet you have disobeyed me. Why have you done this? Now, therefore, I tell you that I will not drive them out before you. They will be thorns in your sides, and their gods will be a snare to you. The people then wept aloud. Shortly after this, Joshua died, and soon thereafter, the whole generation of people that knew of God and had witnessed God's miracles leading them out of Egypt into the Promised Land, that entire generation passed away. And there was a generation of Israelites that did not know God or know of his miracles. And these did evil in the eyes of the Lord and served the Baals. The Baals are the gods of the local people, the Canaanites and the Phoenicians. So the Israelites followed and worshipped various gods of the peoples around them, and they provoked the Lord to anger because they forsook him and served Baal and the Ashtoreths. The Ashtoreths are the female deities. And the Lord was very angry with Israel and said, because this nation has violated the covenant that I laid down for their forefathers and has not listened to me, I will no longer drive out before them any of the nations Joshua left when he died. I will use them, those nations, to test Israel and see whether they will keep the way of the Lord and walk in it as their forefathers did. And I'm going to, through a series of studies of Judges, talk about the different leaders that came forth to save the people when, in a state of oppression, they cried out to God for mercy, and God, in his mercy, sent a leader who pulled them away from their distress and brought them to a place where they could be fruitful and live in peace. And what I find as I study this is that it applies directly to our lives today, and that most of us have either experienced or witnessed times of oppression where we wonder where God is, and then we cry out to God, and God in his mercy sends some saving grace, either directly or indirectly, to pull us from that state of misery. And for all of us, God sent his Son, who was sacrificed ultimately for us, so that we can be saved.